This thing is seriously impressive. Hey, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. This morning I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to review a new purchase I made, and that is this, the Insta360 X5 360 camera. This thing blew me away. Let's get started. Okay, if you're watching this video on my Moto channel, this new camera would be great for my moto vlogs, especially at night, and we will get into that in just a minute. If you're watching this video on my photography channel, I anticipate using this camera attached to the vehicle or otherwise when I am traveling to epic locations, bringing you guys some amazing scenery. So it's going to work well for both channels. And so my discussion of this camera is going to come from the point of view of somebody who's never owned a 360 camera before. I've only had action cameras that were front-facing views. I've had a couple of them so that I could change the angles, but never a full 360, so there is a learning curve associated with this. All right, well, I must let you know that I am not sponsored by Insta360. I purchased this camera with my very own money. Now, there are hundreds of reviews of the new Insta360 X5 out there on YouTube already. Funny enough, many of them came out the day the X5 was launched. So let's think about that for a minute. If they came out the day the X5 was launched, that means Insta360 gave them this camera in advance to do a review video so it could be launched on the same day the camera was launched. And they'll tell you things like not sponsored by Insta360. But you know what? They got the camera for free to keep. So whether you call compensation money or equipment, I mean, this camera is expensive. Make no mistake, those folks were compensated. As I said, I purchased this outright with my own money, and here I am late to the party. So this is a completely unbiased, well, now I say unbiased. There is another level of bias that you need to be aware of. When somebody buys something this expensive and does a review, there's got to be a tendency, you want to think you made a good purchase. There's got to be a tendency for you to look at the bright side of this expensive thing you just laid out a lot of money for. You know, so there's that. You're just going to have to judge for yourself when you're watching this video how you feel about it. I'm going to try to give you my honest opinions, and they are positive, and not just because I paid a lot of money for it. It really did impress me. But I'm going to give you all the facts too and let you make your own decision, and hopefully it helps you make the decision whether you want to buy this camera, upgrade this camera from whatever you have currently. That's my effort here, just to make sure that you have more information and can make a good decision. You know, it's funny when you watch those other reviews out there, the ones that came out on launch. I mean, the thumbnails for those reviews, just, they say some incredible things. Game changer. Oh my gosh, how many times has the game been changed, folks? How many times have you heard that? I don't know what game we're talking about, but I got to tell you, it changes all the time. It's a camera killer. It changes everything. It's the only camera you'll ever need. I'm giving you an unbiased and unsponsored, oh, by the way, I got the camera for free, opinion. It crushes it. It's got huge new updates. It's a perfect camera, the impossible camera. This is the future of photography. Love that one. It's an insane camera. Or they'll have thumbnails like that want to scare you. You know, like, hey, don't do it. Don't believe the hype. Don't buy before you watch this video. Because I want you to use my link. And I get a little something back if you use my link. Well, folks, I don't have a link. I will put a link at the below, but it's a link directly to 360 if you want to buy this camera. It has nothing to do with me. It's not tied back to me in any way, and I get zero for it. Again, my intention with this video is to help you make a decision. Okay, so let me take you back. When action cameras first came out, I think it was the GoPro Hero 4 that I first bought. It was silver. It was amazing at the time. And then GoPro kept coming out with these amazing cameras, better stabilization, more memory, more resolution. GoPro was just killing it. And let me tell you, I was a dyed-in-the-wool GoPro fanboy. I had 2 or 3 of them. I loved them. And I sang their praises all the time. I didn't see a need for this Insta360 stuff coming out. Matter of fact, I fought back a little bit when it first came out. Like, I don't need that. I'm not going to buy that. It's not giving me anything. But then a couple things happened. Unfortunately, GoPro had started falling behind. They really didn't keep up with the times and really didn't have their fingers on the pulse of what their customers wanted. Well, the first time I really started taking a close look at 360 is when they came out with the Ace Pro. And here's what drew me to that. Now, you guys that watch my moto videos know that a lot of times I'm starting out early in the morning and it's dark. And that GoPro, bless its heart, struggles in dark. I mean, just struggles. It can't find the horizon because it's too dark. And since it can't find the horizon, it doesn't do a good job of stabilization. And it's grainy as all get out. You know, it just wasn't doing a good job. And I kept seeing videos of how good this new Ace Pro was with this mode they call pure video at capturing low light. That really piqued my interest and I started doing some research. Then I also found out, guess what? You can connect your helmet via Bluetooth directly to the camera and start and stop your recording just by using voice commands through your microphone. I don't have to reach out and touch. I don't have to have the camera on my chin anymore, which adds weight to my helmet, and you guys know about that. I don't have to have the camera right here so I have a wire and a microphone up under my chin on the helmet. Well, those two things talked me into it. So you know what? I'm going to keep my, at that time, Hero 10, and I'm going to buy this Ace Pro. And I did, and I loved it. The Ace Pro performed exactly as I expected. Matter of fact, I am recording this right now on that Ace Pro in pure video mode because it's a little dark in my game room this morning, okay? Anyway, that sold me, and I loved that purchase. And then the X3 came out, and the X4 came out. And with both of those launches, I'm like, you know what? I don't like that fisheye look. I don't need it. It's money I don't need to spend. So why then did I spend this money? Well, I'll tell you what talked me into it. For the first time ever, and we'll go over more of the attributes of this camera in just a minute, but for the first time ever on a 360 camera, it had pure video mode. And it has a dedicated AI chip in there to help process low light situations in that pure video mode. You're not going to believe the difference. We're going to take a look at that in just a little bit. But then I got to thinking, wow, if that can take pure video and I can speak to it to turn it on and turn it off like I did with my Ace Pro, because I was thinking about maybe getting the Ace Pro 2. So this thing does everything the Ace Pro 2 does now with pure video and speak actions. I can do everything the Ace Pro 2 can do with this camera, and it has slightly bigger sensor than the Ace Pro 2. Wow, why not? Why not grab this camera so I also get a 360 view with all the capabilities of an Ace Pro 2? That's what weighed my decision to buy this camera over the Ace Pro 2. All right, so I bought a thing called the Essentials Pack. Let's go through what was in the Essentials Pack. All right, in the Essentials Pack, here's what you get. You get the camera, the X5 360-degree camera. You also get 2 standard lens guards. Now these go over the lens to protect the lens. I don't think they're necessary. I'm not necessarily going to use them. I'll tell you why in a minute. But they protect the lens from scratches and scuffs, but they get beat up pretty easily, pretty quickly themselves. But that came in the kit. Don't think I'll use those. A fast charging 2-battery fast charger. This is a really cool device. Got 2 doors here. The batteries fit in there. You plug it into USB-C. And oh, by the way, it has an integrated USB-C cord in it. Okay, so cool. All right. And it will charge. It's a fast charger. It will charge these batteries up for you 2 at a time. So that came in the kit. Of course, the selfie stick came in the kit. This is the standard selfie stick that disappears when you're using 360 video. What else? Spare battery. If you buy the Essentials kit, you get the battery that comes with the camera, so you got 1 battery, but a second battery comes also. So you now have 2 batteries. Good thing I have a 2-battery charger. Anyway, these batteries are not back compatible. You cannot go use the X4 or the X3 batteries on the X5 because the contact positions are in a different place. Other than that, the battery's about the same. It's a shame they just didn't keep the battery the same, but they didn't. It's got a different contact point. Only X5 batteries will work in the X5. So, spare battery came with the kit. Lens hood. This is very important. I use this all the time. I've got the camera right now on a very soft microfiber towel, but any other time I'm walking around with it when I am not filming, this lens cover is going to go on it so that I don't scratch those lenses, because you cannot lay this thing down where one of those fisheye lenses doesn't touch the ground. I mean, you can, but it's precarious. It'll set straight up, okay? It might even lay on its side, but it's going to roll over, get bumped or whatever, and now you're going to be scratching some lenses. So the lens cover, very important. It came with a carrying case. This is a nice little carrying case. Got sort of an egg crate looking insert that has a spot for the camera to go into, a spot for the dual charger to go into, a strap on the outside of the camera that the selfie stick can slide into, and it's pretty firm. It'll hold up under some pressure, so it'll protect the camera pretty well. That was nice. Carrying case for it. Okay, that's what came in the Essentials kit. Now, I bought through somebody's link, one of the reviews that was, what, unsponsored? Yeah, one of those reviews I watched, and the guy had a link at the bottom where you could buy through his unsponsored video, and they offered at the time a free lens replacement kit. Now, this is also a big deal with the X5. For the first time ever on a 360 camera, if that lens gets scuffed, you don't have to send it in to Insta360 for $35, I think. You can buy an extra lens, and it comes with a tool where you can take this lens off and replace it with the lens that's in here for $30. You don't have to send it anywhere. First time ever, you can replace the lens if it gets damaged or broke. That's pretty cool. All right, let's go over some of the highlights of this new camera and the capabilities it has. First and foremost, it can record in 8K, 8K 30, 360-degree video. It has 2 1/1.28 sensors in it. Now, what the heck is 1/1.28? All right, well, when you divide 1 by something smaller, it is a bigger result. So that 1.28 is the smaller I'm talking about, right? If you compare that to, say, an Ace Pro 2, it's got a 1/1.3, not 1.28, 1.3. So when you divide something by a larger thing, it's a smaller result. What's that saying? That's saying that the sensors, 2 of them, by the way, with the third AI sensor I told you about, low light, 3 sensors in this thing. 2 of them are those 1/1.28 sensors for the camera itself, larger than the X4, slightly larger than the Ace Pro 2, as I just discussed. And if you look at the GoPro 13, it's got a 1/1.9. Okay, so a good bit larger than the GoPro 13. Wow. That low light sensor in there, that low light chip in there, AI chip, allows for 13.5 stops of dynamic range on this camera. That's crazy. What's dynamic range? It's the ability for the camera to capture both highlighted situations and dark situations without blowing out those highlights or being so dark you can't see detail in those dark sections. That's dynamic range. In one shot, you can get everything. Very nice. And of course, like every 360 camera before it, you get the invisible selfie stick. So the two lenses on either side of this camera both have a greater than 180 degree field of view. So, 180 degree would be flat, the greater than 183 field of view, and they combine them and they stitch together where they combine so that everything in the middle sort of disappears and it's a seamless, full 360 degree video. Well, through that stitching together, the software will eliminate the selfie stick. So you get views that look like they're coming from a drone or something. You don't see the stick. It's almost like magic. If you know anything about 360 cameras, you've seen this. It's nothing new on the X5, but it's there and it's pretty cool. It also comes with this setting called new Instaframe Mode. It's Instaframe Mode. And what that does is it takes a flat video like you're seeing right here of me, just a flat 16:9 video. But at the same time, it's taking another video behind the scenes that is 360 degrees at the very same instance. So now you have two videos to play with when you go into your post-processing software. You can have this look here, and then you can also pan around 360 while you're talking or whatever. That's pretty cool. It also has an option where it will follow your face. You could have the camera on a tripod sitting still, and you can literally walk around that tripod, and it will stay on your face. The point of view in the camera, flat view like you're seeing now from my Ace Pro. I would walk around and it would just follow my face like this camera's not doing. But you can walk all the way around the camera and it will follow you the whole way. What a great aspect of a camera that somebody's using to vlog or something, like in a park or whatever. That's very cool. All right, we talked about these lenses, right? And how they're replaceable. But the lenses themselves are actually tougher than previous versions, the X4, the X3. The glass is tougher. It's harder to damage them. If you do damage them, you can now replace them, but it's going to be harder to damage them. It also has, right here, a microphone that's behind a built-in windscreen. So it has a great ability to cut wind noise while you're vlogging. I can't wait to try this on the motorcycle and see how it comes out. That's one reason why in my current situation, I would have to do voiceover, or I could speak through the Bluetooth to the camera while I'm on the bike. But with this one, you're not going to hear as much wind noise. You almost could just talk without the aid of a microphone, and the audio should be much, much better. With that microphone, though, you also have the ability to record dual channels. So let's say I'm on the motorcycle and I have this on the mount for the motorcycle and I have the helmet Bluetoothed in. If I turn on dual channel, I can be talking and creating that audio, but the camera itself can pick up the sounds of the bike, the engine, on a second audio track. You got two. That's pretty cool. All right, let's talk about that ability to start and stop this camera using voice command. I can do it right now just in a room, but I can also do it through my helmet. It connects, as I said before, through Bluetooth. What's really cool about this is once you establish that connection the first time, anytime I'm on the bike now and I turn this camera on and turn my helmet on, automatically connects. I don't have to go in and reconnect it. With this Ace Pro, I have to go find in the settings where it says audio source or secondary audio source and reconnect it every time. Not with this. That's an improvement. I connected it once. I turn it on now and boom, it automatically connects with my helmet if it detects it, and off we go. The sound quality you'll hear in just a minute on some test video that I'm going to show you. The sound quality is really good. You guys know that I've had trouble with this Ace Pro, sometimes being garbled. Now, granted, I need to test this more than just one day, and that's all I've done is taken video on one day. You'll see in a minute. So the proof is still in the pudding on this, but boy, it sounded good. It was clear and connected right away. I'm very encouraged by the audio abilities of this camera. Now, the marketing materials for this on the 360 site says that this battery will give you 185 minutes of recording time. You have to understand that 185 minutes of recording time is on a very minimal setting that removes things like voice control and some other things. It is the most minimal setting that you can actually record, and I think it's 5K, not 8K, on this camera. But yes, indeed, you can get close to 185 minutes on that lowest setting. I'm not sure anybody would set it to that lowest setting because you eliminate so much other than just recording. So I'm sure that's not going to be the case, but it is a better battery, slightly better battery than the X4. This has what they call flow state stabilization. You know, when I first got the Ace Pro 2, I was testing the stabilization against the GoPro, which I thought had state-of-the-art stabilization. And this thing held its own for stabilization. Now you will see when you see the results from this camera, the stabilization is still fantastic. As a matter of fact, that AI chip that helps low light really helps low light stabilization as well. I am super impressed with that. Wait till you see that video in just a minute. It's got powerful editing tools. You know, it's got an app on the phone, which I don't use very much, but it has also got an app you can download to your MacBook where you can pull files off of this camera and manipulate them in the Insta360 desktop app. And in that app, you can control the point of view. If you want to zoom in, zoom out, turn around, look at me, look at the street ahead. You want to go up real high and look at everything and make it sort of that fisheye look. You can do that. You can alter colors. There's so much that you can play with in that 360 app. I can't wait to dive in deeper and find out more about it. All I've done so far is change perspective, and that in itself was pretty cool. You'll see some of that in just a minute. Insta360 also claims that this X5 is waterproof down to 49 feet. And while I believe that is true, I've heard, not tested, I've heard that the video quality underwater is not great. It's not as good as it would be if you purchase their, oh, by the way, $99 dive case. The dive case makes underwater video much more clear, like above water video kind of clear, okay? But underwater without the case, yeah, this will survive, but you won't get the greatest output, is what I've heard. I have not tested that. Okay, another first for this camera over the X4 or the X3, it now has the magnetic mounting system. Now, when I say magnetic, it's not truly magnetic. It's got those 4 little hooks in the base that you can clamp into the base of the camera, and you can see the holes for those 4 little hooks. It grabs a hold of it and it locks it in place, and it is secure. I have tested that many times with this Ace Pro, very same mounting system, works with this. And the video you're going to see here in a minute was taken on the motorcycle with this mounted no other way but by those 4 hooks in that magnetic mounting system. This is the first 360 camera that's had that ability. It worked fine. So easy to put on and take off. I've got 2 or 3 of those magnetic mounts hanging around here that I use. You never have to worry about unscrewing something. You just clip it on, clip it off to whatever. Tripod, bike, awesome mounting system. The last pro tip that I will bring up about this camera, the last good thing about it, is the charging time. It's supposed to be twice as fast as the X4, charging the battery. Now, there are a lot of things on this camera that I think are dang fast. I can only compare it to the Ace Pro because I don't have an X4. But the boot up, when you first turn it on, you're up and ready to go so quick, very much quicker, I've heard, than an X4. And I do know it's quicker than this, slightly quicker than this Ace Pro. Connecting to my helmet is quicker. Downloading files to the computer is quicker. So many things are quicker on this particular camera. That's awesome. All right, what are some of the negatives of this camera? You know, there are very few, and not just because I paid a lot of money for it. There are very few. That is one of the negatives, however. I paid a lot of money. This is not a cheap device. The camera itself, $550. That Essentials pack that comes with everything I mentioned before ended up being $712 at the end of the day. That's a good chunk of change, but this thing is living up to the value. I'm telling you, living up to the value for me. Don't take my word for it. Go look at other reviews. Make the decision yourself. But this thing is worth every penny to me. Another slight negative is the weight. It's a heavy camera. You put it way out on a selfie stick, it's gonna add more weight to the end of that selfie stick. Now, it does a good job of stabilization, so maybe it's not a big deal, but it is a heavy camera, and it's not all that aerodynamic. So if you put it on a motorcycle, long on a stick out there, the wind's gonna blow it around. Haven't done that. Don't know how I'm gonna mount it on the motorcycle other than what I've already done with that Traction Dynamics action mount. But we'll see. But it's not so aerodynamic. It does have these patterns on the front of it. You can see the angle patterns in the plastic. That's an effort to keep it cool. It provides more surface area on the camera, and when you have more surface area, it cools faster. Now, that brings up a good point. Does this thing overheat? Well, what I can tell you is, when you're recording in 8K, it does get pretty warm, surprisingly warm to me when I was holding it the first time. I've kind of got used to the fact that it does that now, and there have been reviews out there on YouTube where they see how long you can record, and in 8K, the camera will shut down because of overheating before it shuts down because it's out of battery, okay? Not the case with 5.7K or 4K recording. It will run out the battery long before any kind of overheating issue at that particular setting. But at 8K, it's going to get warm, so just know that. Okay, so now let me take you to some of the footage that I took on this camera. I started out, and I'll put all the settings on the screen so you can see. I started out in 5K just to see how that looked and changed the perspective a little bit. Later in the day, I went back out for a ride at 8K and took that video, and I gotta say, you can see a difference in that 8K, at least I can. It's pretty dang impressive, the 8K video. So keep an eye out for that. And the last piece of video you're going to see is a side-by-side comparison of early morning dark riding on my motorcycle in regular video mode and that pure video mode that allows more light. I was blown away by how much better that pure video handled that low light situation. Wait till you see that. Check it out. Here it comes.
Okay, this is the first recording of my brand new X5 Insta360 X5 360 degree camera. On my action mount, I am recording at 5.7K 30 frames per second, and we're just testing out some things this morning. Gonna take a look at video quality, gonna see how the audio sounds. I am connected once again, similar to my Ace Pro. I am connected through this helmet, the SRL EXT communication system, Bluetoothing directly to the camera. So we're going to see how that works out. My process for setting up audio this morning was I turned on my helmet first, connected to the camera. Got that connection established, then I turned on the bike and the helmet connected to the bike through the quad lock wireless dongle. So 2 different channels of Bluetooth, I think. When I connected to the camera, I did second phone pairing, all in the attempt to keep the channels from interfering with themselves. Let me fix my blind spot detection system here. I had the mirrors folded in for some storms and some tight quarters a few days ago. Forgot to fold the mirror back out, and only the left mirror, for those of you concerned that I'm going to hit my brake over here and fly off on the right side. That mirror never got turned in. So it's kind of the one gloomy day in between stormy days. It was raining all day yesterday, and I mean heavy rain. And it's scheduled to rain again tomorrow. So taking this opportunity to test the camera and see how it works out. Taking 5.7K at 30 frames per second this morning. Later this afternoon when I get back on the bike, I'll probably bump that up to 8K 30 and see how it performs. See if you can see a visible difference. I'm not quite sure you'll be able to, but we'll see. Okay, so far the audio commands are working well. Similar to the Ace Pro, I can just tell the camera to begin and tell the camera to end. Right now I'm just using the default mounting position, which is my Traction Dynamics action mount on the left hand side mirror joint. You guys know what I'm talking about. I've got the camera pointed sort of at a 45-degree angle out to the left side. I'm not sure if it's going to eliminate all of the mounting like an invisible selfie stick. I don't think that's happening with this particular mounting setup, because it's not all directly underneath the camera, and that's what it normally eliminates in a selfie stick situation. So this is all part of my formal review of this camera. I will splice in bits and pieces of this footage into that review. Yeah, I am sure anxious to see in what ways I can use this 360 footage. At the very least, I know I can use it exactly like I would use my Ace Pro if I was to say buy the Ace Pro 2. And that's really kind of what moved me towards this X5. If you can do everything you could do with an Ace Pro 2, then why not get the 360-degree angles as well? Alright, I'm going to shut this down and we will pick it back up this afternoon and try some 8K footage and see how that works out. And we are now recording in 8K 30. Wonder if we can see a difference. I did listen to the audio from earlier today, and boy, the audio sounds pretty dang good coming from the helmet to this particular camera. Wondering if it doesn't have a stepped up version of Bluetooth. See if I can't find out what Bluetooth version it's using. But yeah, seems to connect with the helmet a lot quicker than the Ace Pro. And yeah, the audio seems clearer, so that's all good news. Yeah, I can't wait to play with the different modes. It's a little unnerving having it on this sort of cockeyed on this action mount with the magnetic base, and it's not magnetic, remember, it's got 4 hooks that hook into the base actually holding it. There is a magnet involved, so you know you got it the right direction. It sort of pulls it down on those hooks, but once it's pulled down, it is the 4 hooks that have engaged and are holding this thing in its place. Well, let's just hope those 4 hooks hold, because whew, that would be an expensive drop. Alright, well, we have a good segment of 8K 30 to review. So mission accomplished today.
All right, so there it is, guys. You have to make your own decision if this is worth your money. I can tell you it's definitely worth my money. I am so glad that I decided to go with the X5 over the Ace Pro 2. I'm sure the Ace Pro 2 is a fantastic camera. You can't get 360 with it. I can do everything with this camera that I could do with that Ace Pro 2 with bigger sensors and 360 video. So it was a no-brainer for me. Very happy so far with this. You guys keep tuning into my channels, both photography and motorcycle channels, to see how this thing performs in real life. I can't wait to bring you more content with this amazing device. Thank you for watching today, and until we talk again, ride safe and God bless.